DKC, DKC Returns, DKC Returns HD, DKC Returns. Now I know Bonanza just came out, but you see, I don't have money. There's really nothing I can do about that. But you see, what I do have is DKC Returns, and I recently played it. It's probably one of the best games I have played in my life. Now, one of the first things this game gets right is the movement. And the thing I enjoy the most about the movement is the roll. You can do a lot with this roll, because when you do a roll of a platform, you get some extra time in the air for you to jump. While this may seem very simple, when you do a roll, you actually keep your momentum when you jump, meaning that by doing this, you can get a lot of horizontal mobility, allowing you to jump over a lot of platforms. As you can see by my footage, you can actually do a lot of shortcuts with this movement. Now, hearing this may sound very broken, but really, I'd say it's balanced, because using this movement is actually harder than just taking a normal path, meaning that most players will not want to use it. So to use the full potential of this movement, you actually have to get really good at this game. And I really appreciate it works this way, because what a lot of games like to do is that they give you the great movement without requiring any of the skill it takes to use it. For example, I really like Sonic X Shadow Generations. One of the things they give you in the game are the wings. Now, the wings are cool, except they don't take any challenge to use. You can easily just fly over everything in the level. It takes no skill. It's pretty boring, you just hold the boost button. But then you have something like spear gliding. Spear gliding is something that was discovered that is kind of like a glitch, and it allows you to skip big parts of the level. But the difference between the wings and spear gliding is that spear gliding takes a lot of challenging, it takes a lot of mastering, and if you don't align yourself well every single time you're going to use it, you're done. And it's really dangerous when you're using it in the air, because if you don't keep pressing the spear button, you will lose your speed, so you have to be really careful when you use this ability. It's the same thing with the roll in DKC Returns, so that is something that I really like about this game. Now that we're talking about abilities, we can talk about Diddy. Wait, not that one, dude. Who told you that was the... No, I mean Diddy Kong.
Oh.
Just put Diddy Kong in there, okay?
Okay, there he is.
Thank you. Okay, so Diddy Kong. Now, because of what I said, you may think that I have an issue with Diddy Kong, but I really don't. I think the game is well designed around Diddy Kong, because using Diddy Kong means slowing down. So a lot of the time, you do not want to use him if you don't want to slow down. But what he also does is that if you're skilled enough, you can combine the roll while using Diddy Kong to get even further, meaning the better the player gets, the more uses they can find with Diddy, while also finding cases in where the player would not want to use Diddy because it would slow them down. But yeah, I like the way Diddy is implemented in the game. I think it's a good example of how to make a good power up in a game. Now that I gushed about one part of the gameplay, now I have to gush about another part of the gameplay, which is the level design. I think the level design in this game is almost genius. It reminds me in a way of how Sonic games are designed, where they would place enemies and various objects around the level so that you can use them to bounce on those things or to use them to your advantage to never stop. DKC Returns does the same thing, but it expands upon that type of level design, making it to the point that it's just genius. A lot of the things, when you look at them the first time, it's just like, why is that there? But then when you go through the second time, you realize, oh wait, this enemy right here, I think if I do a roll jump from this platform, I can jump on that enemy, can hold A and bounce on that enemy so that I can get further and then hit that other enemy so I can land in this other platform. This is just one example in this game. There are many other examples where the game does this. I think the level design in this game is just genius. Everything is placed in a very careful way so the player can go through these levels as fast as possible. Now, while DKC Returns is a really good platformer, platforming is not all you do in this game. This game also has other modes of gameplay. The first mode you encounter is the minecart. The minecart levels are basically auto-scrollers. Normally auto-scrollers are really slow and you're not really doing much. You're just waiting until the next platform appears and you're just standing most of the time. But in the case of DKC Returns, not only do they look fast, but the pacing of the levels are actually fast too, meaning you're active most of the time you're doing this auto-scroller. Now the second type of gameplay are the barrels. or launcher barrels. I'm not really sure what they're called. I like this type of gameplay a little bit less than the minecarts, and they are very simple. But what makes it good is that the timings are pretty tight and the levels are pretty fast, meaning that this simple gameplay becomes more interesting because of the challenge. Now for the last type of gameplay, I don't really love the rocket barrel. It's my least favorite because it's just kind of boring. There's not a lot of challenge in these levels. The spectacle is kinda good, but you know, when you watch it for like the third time, it's not really that exciting anymore. And the main reason why I'm really dismissive about this rocket gameplay is because I already played a better rocket gameplay in a game called Geometry Dash. In Geometry Dash you have the rocket. It's similar to what DKC Returns has. But in Geometry Dash, you have more control, which is something that I say. The rocket barrel has really loose controls, but in Geometry Dash, the rocket is easier to control, which allows the game to throw more stuff at you. It means you can go faster, it means you can throw more obstacles, it means they can have more gimmicks, just by giving the player more control. And in DKC Returns, you don't have much control, which means there's not many obstacles that can put in your way, and they just end up being pretty easy sometimes. They're kind of boring because they're pretty slow too. It's not something that I would go out of my way to play, but you know, still good. I still enjoy it. By the way, you should play Geometry Dash. You can get it for like $4 in Steam. It's really cheap. So yeah, let's continue with DKC Returns. Okay, I think I'm done talking about the gameplay. Oh wait, yeah, the bosses. They're fine. Kinda boring sometimes. A little repetitive. They're fine. I don't really care. I don't really care about bosses. I just don't care about this design where you're platforming all the way, and then when you get into the boss, it's just, you know, you wait until it does his attack. Then when it does his attack, then you can hit him, and then you wait again. It's just really stupid. I really don't like it when platform bosses are designed this way. Why isn't the boss a platforming challenge? I really don't get it. I don't know why. I don't know why a lot of platformers do this, but it just really doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think that's it about the gameplay. Now I want to talk about the way this game looks. Oh my god, is this game beautiful. And you look at New Super Mario Bros. Wii, a game that came out on the Wii, the same as DKC Returns. And you look at both games, and one of them looks awesome, and that game is DKC Returns. DKC Returns looks way better than most of the games that Nintendo released during the Wii. The style of this game is so inspired. Like, it doesn't have this plain old style that all Nintendo games used to have. This game is inspired. I really love that about the way this game looks. And it wasn't even made by Nintendo, it was made by Retro. And I think that's a good thing. If this game was made by Nintendo during the Wii, it would try to look like the old games, but also failing at looking like the old games because of how much it tries to look like the old games. It doesn't have an original vision like the old games did. In this game's goal is not to look like the old games, but to evolve the way the old games look, to make a modern and better version of that. They're following on their footsteps and not trying to copy them. It's a really unique looking game, and a better and faithful evolution of what the old games used to look like. Okay, what else? This game, there's not really much I can talk about this game. It's just a straight up good platformer, and a good looking one too. I don't really have much to say about this game. Okay, the music is kinda mid. I like the remixes of the old music. It sounds really good. And then the new music is not the best. I think that's the only bad criticism I have for this game. The new music is not that great. Okay, I didn't talk about collectibles in this game. In DKC you have two collectibles. You have puzzle pieces and Kong letters. Puzzle pieces are useless. They're just there for 100%. And sometimes they can just be a pain to find. You have to replay these levels over and over and over again, trying to find that last puzzle piece that you don't seem to find because it's hidden behind a fucking wall. Yeah, I don't enjoy collectibles in most games. I feel like they slow down the pace of the game way too much. And I'm forced to replay parts of the game that are less fun now because I'm constantly stopping, looking into every single thing, meaning I don't enjoy the level as much as if I was just running through the level. So yeah, I don't enjoy puzzle pieces. But I don't have the same problem with Kong letters. The reason for that is because Kong letters are almost always visible. You can always get them while you're going through the level. Now you may think that that makes it collecting them kind of pointless, but in the case of DKC, when you want to collect a Kong letter, it's like an extra challenge. Do you want to go for the letter and risk it a little bit, or do you want to just ignore it and not get a reward? And the reward itself is pretty cool. When you collect every single Kong letter, you get a new level in each world. These levels are pretty challenging and really fun. When you complete these levels, you get an orb, and each orb can be used at the end of the game. Each orb is used to unlock the Golden Temple, which gives you more levels to play, which also are pretty challenging. That's what I really like about this reward. They're giving you more game to play, especially for this game that is really good. I want more game to play, and by playing the game, I get to unlock more game to play, and I think that's a really cool reward. That is like the best type of collectible in the platformer. But yeah, you should really play this game. It is one of the best games ever. But how should you play it? Because you have two ways to go. You can go the official way, and you can go the unofficial way. If you want to play the game officially, the best way you can play it 100% is playing DKC Returns HD. I know some people don't like the changes of the original, but in my opinion, all of the changes are really minimal. You can barely notice them unless you put them side by side. The only thing I ever really noticed is that the water looks like more realistic, which kind of looks wrong, but sometimes it just looks more beautiful. It's a half and half thing. Also, the main reason why I think this is the best version is because I fucking hate motion controls. You have to waggle the stick every single time you have to roll, and it's really annoying. The game really shouldn't be that way. And I also don't like the lower resolution. I like my games to look sharp. The game is at 1080p on the Switch, so I think that's a great thing. Now, if you want to play the game unofficially, you have two really good options. You can play the game through Dolphin, or you can play the game through Eden. This video is getting taken down by Nintendo. With Dolphin, you have the benefits of having a higher resolution and not playing with motion controls. And playing it through the Eden emulator, it also allows you to go in a higher resolution. And you can also customize your buttons so that pressing L makes you roll, because I hate that they put the roll button on X. Why would you put it on X? It's really uncomfortable. And they did the same thing for 3D World. Why? It's not really comfortable. So yeah, playing it in both has its benefits. Also, I didn't mention this. You can add high resolution textures for the Dolphin version, because when you're playing at a higher resolution, the low resolution textures are way more noticeable. So I would recommend that. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I normally don't do these types of videos. This is the first time I do something like this. But you know, it was really exciting to do, and it took a lot of effort. So it would be nice if you could, like, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do, really, actually. Well, thank you. Have a nice day. Should they change Diddy's name?